Hi, I'm Casper. I'm a Singaporean in my early 30s, and today I want to show you how to set up one of my favorite budgeting software tools, and it's called Aspire Budget. It's a free Google Sheet that you can duplicate into your account and actually use it on a day-to-day basis. This is one of the key tools I have in my personal financial system, and today I want to show you how to set it up. If you haven't watched my previous video about doing some reflections about how you categorize your spending, feel free to take a look. It will be great if you have done that before you come to this video, but it's okay. We can go ahead to set this up together and we'll see how it goes. In my next video, I'm going to talk about how you actually use the budget on a day-to-day basis, and I just want to give a heads up here. I am not an expert on budgeting. I'm not an expert on the Aspire Budget. It is actually created by someone else. There are some features that I might be using wrongly or not using correctly, but this is after years of using this budget. This is my experience with it, and this is how I use it. So feel free to look online, see if anyone else has any ideas about how to use this budget, and just customize it, just use it the way you want. This is meant to just give you a starting point on how to begin budgeting and using a free budget tool to achieve your financial wellness, to achieve your financial independence if that's your aim. So what is in a budget? A budget actually should contain three main things. The first one is categories. We already talked about that in the previous video. These are envelopes or conceptual buckets that you have on how you actually categorize your spending. So it could be free spending, it could be food, it could be trips, it could be taxes. These are high-level categories of what you spend on. The second thing a budget should really have is called accounts, and these are the real life physical accounts that you have. So it could be your wallet. Your wallet holds cash. That's one account. Another account could be your OCBC account, your UOB account. Those are bank accounts, saving accounts that you want to keep track of. Another account would be the credit cards, because your credit cards actually hold a negative amount because you're kind of taking a short-term loan from the bank before you pay it back. There are other kinds of accounts that we want to take note in our budget. Just to recap from the previous video, a budget is meant to help you with your short-term spending, so keep that in mind. It wouldn't be a balance sheet. It's more of a cash flow statement. It's more about tracking how you're spending your money, more so than planning for your future or investing. The last part of a budget would be the transactions. That's the most important part. So here's a bit of a warning, right? A lot of budgets online now help you sync your transactions from your bank account right into your tool, or you can sync your credit card statements right into your tool, and everything will just be done electronically. For cash, you just have to figure that out, how you want to deal with it. For me, personally, and this is what I encourage you to do, you should be actually taking note of every transaction you're making. So if I'm using my credit card, I go into my budget and key in. I'm using my debit card, I go to my account and take it in. If I'm transferring money to someone, I'm taking out my budget tool and key in. And that's why it's so important for Aspire Budget to be on Google Sheets, because I can access it anytime. You may think this is crazy, you may think this is so difficult. Trust me, this is one of the most important habits I've ever created in my life, logging everything I spend on, just because later on, when you actually check your credit card bill, and you see a charge that doesn't make sense, you know it doesn't make sense because you have logged everything. You will check against what you have logged and say, hey, this is a fraudulent charge. That's when you can cancel your credit card ASAP and let your bank know. This is how you actually are aware of how much you're spending. Because this happens real time, right? You're keying it in, you can immediately see your category amount dropping. This is how you know how much more you can spend. If you're doing a sync is not a 100% thing. Every time you sync will be maybe a weekly thing. You might have overspent a category and not know. So this is why I really recommend you logging every transaction. At the same time, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, we can always figure things out. I suggest you continue with this video first, but basically this is what are the three main things in a budget: the categories, the accounts, and also the transactions. These are the main three things that comprises a budget. So transactions also include transfers between accounts. Just to be very clear, so even if you're withdrawing cash from an ATM, you are taking money from a bank account into your wallet. So that is also a transfer. Okay, let's kind of get started. I just want to give you a high-level overview. To set up this budget, you kind of need to log into all your accounts so you know where your money is. That's super important, right? If you forget about an account, that's crazy. It's because sometimes you may be charged for an account that you don't use. So just make sure you know where all your accounts are. Even if you don't use it, log it down. Assess each account, find out how much money you have inside right now. If it's a credit card, how much money do you owe in that credit card? And then now we enter it into the Aspire Budget. I'm going to show you how I do this with the Aspire Budget right now. Okay, I increased the zoom and now we'll begin to set up our Aspire Budget. But you'll see here, Aspire Budgeting, the best spreadsheet for budgeting. Let's go in there. we'll get the Google Sheet. Here's where you can buy the Creator a Coffee, but we can click get the Google Sheet. So here you click make a copy, and here you will get the updated version of Aspire Budget. It may take a while. At the same time, here are some introduction stuff. You know, they talk about the docs, which are actually really helpful. I'm going to open that. Make sure you still have your categories open. But here you can actually do your own reading, see how you want to configure your own budget. But I'm pretty much going to take you through how to set it up based on how I would do it. So here you can read the docs. There are localization tools. What formats do you like? All this. For me, I don't like this format. This is the American format, which is I think a month, day, and then year. At the same time, I am kind of lazy to change it here. You will figure it out yourself. But then we can go ahead here. This is where we actually set things up. There are already great categories here, how you want to deal with it. So these are kind of like symbols that you may want to take note of. Clicking here, you can see what are these symbols for. There are categories for like credit card categories. I don't use this. Actually, I don't use this credit card categories at all. So I don't use this credit card payments at all. You may want to read how they do it. And I would just kind of delete it if I don't need it. So here's where I would just delete. So if you are a user of this sheet, I'm probably going to share this. Let me know how you're using this credit card categories and I'll try to use it on my own. So now let's just ignore that because I don't use it. It wasn't in the original, so we can kind of move this up. There's a lot, guys. This is not how much I have. So expenses, yes, this is what we discussed. We have done it in our categories. Here we have food, that is $500. So I'm going to write food, $500. This tick would help you see how much you actually need in your emergency fund. Other expenses that I have would be free spend, which is what we discussed earlier. That would be about $400. Let's just put $397 to be precise. Gasoline, we don't drive, so let's take it out. Free spend is already our fund money, so we can call it fund money as well, or free spend, whatever you want. Toiletries and supplies, that's a good point. We may want to have that, but not right now. Let's just keep it simple. We can always add on more categories. It may get a bit complicated adding and removing categories, but so far it has not been an issue for me. Let's just paste this up. Okay, we live with our parents, so we don't need any monthly bills. Let's just let our parents handle that. But we do have our parent allowance, so let's just key this in. So these symbols are something interesting. Like this would be, let's just go into configuration. A reportable category. This will appear in our reports. So this would be something that you may want to take note of. For example, they have all these account reports that you can use. I typically don't, so it doesn't really matter to me whether it's that star or this star or whatever. So parent allowance, how much are we giving them? We're giving them $500. That's 10%. This is a not, because we don't have to give our parents money. I guess if we do get fired, this is something you want to discuss with your parents. Can they actually survive without you? Talking to your parents about finances is a video I might do another day, not today. Let me know what you guys think. Other monthly bills would be the subscriptions we see here. So gym, Netflix, Spotify. Do I have any money in those? 0, so let's not bother keying that in. Transport, $80, taxes, $250. Okay, let's just key in taxes, $250. So taxes could be your estimated taxes for next year, or if you're paying taxes now, maybe you can just do it for this year. Ideally, we will save the money for this year's income to pay for this year's taxes. But I know not everyone does that. Some people use this year's income to pay for last year's taxes. That is fine. I can go into more detail in future if you want to know more. Insurance, that's $100. What else do we have? Let's just key in all through iCloud. That's $2. Okay, let's just change this. So this actually just means header. So that's how you kind of categorize your categories. So ignoring all the question marks, do we have everything? Kind of transport. Transport is 80. Okay, then we can delete all this. Let's just move this all up. So they put yearly bills under insurance under early. They put insurance under yearly bills. I kind of don't care. I will just call this bills, and then that's how we kind of just deal with it. Okay. Simplify it. Doesn't need to be so crazy. This is scary. Call it bills. And cell phone. Yeah, there's cell phone. So let's just change this to the empty star. call this cell phone bill. I think we don't need all these other things as of yet. If you own your own house, you would know how to fill this in. Yeah, maybe you want some for clothing, but clothing for me, I put it under free spend. I don't buy clothes. It's not really something I want to budget separately. If there's something you want to budget separately, you can do that. Giving local church, there's a lot here. Let's just take them all out. Okay, and then you can go one by one to see what's actually needed. The gym, we had $150. Taxes is a definite must because you still have to pay for last year's taxes. Insurance is a definite must. iCloud is a no. Transport will be important because we will have to, emergency funds assumes like you got fired or laid off. So you may want to take that in. You need it for transport around to do your interviews. This is also important. Okay, I think we've kind of covered that. And then we can put this, we call this investments. That's what I do. And then here, I'll put long-term investments or endowers or SIFE or stash away, whatever you use. And then you put in the 1,999. So this could be also your, your interactive brokers. Yeah, anything. And this is definitely a no because we don't invest when we are laid off. So just here, just to be very clear, you put 5,000. You can see that there's 1,000 missing. There's something probably I'm missing here. $1,000. Or because of CPF. So this is actually correct. We key in our take-home pay, which is 3,998, and here is 0. So this is correct. Okay. Something I like to add here is actually salary. So what I would just put it under investments. I don't really care. I add a salary here just because this will show us. This will allow us to see our salary shown in the reports. So when you actually see on your account reports, for example, or your spending reports, you can see the inflow for salary. Okay, not everyone does this. I didn't do it at first until I realized that my inflow is always 0, and that killed me, when I look at the reports here. Let's continue setting this up. So here is the budget accounts. Let's just easily call it like OCBC. Let's say we have OCBC bank account. And a UOB bank account. Honestly, I don't have accounts with these two. I don't know why they came up, but anyway, this would be the OCBC 360 maybe. How many credit cards do you have? Yeah, so it really depends on how many credit cards you have. Let's just key in here, and then maybe whatever, Amex, KrisFlyer, I think that's what it's called. I don't have it. Of course, here we will have wallet, so we can always look for emoji just to be there. Emojipedia. Okay. Wallet. A purse. Okay, let's use this purse. It's so cute. Purse. Coffee. So what other accounts do you have? Do you have any short-term investment accounts? So it could be maybe a, I don't know, a Money Owl cash account. Then we can use an owl emoji here. I applied for Money Owl a long time ago to be a PM there, but it didn't work out. Yep, so this is how you set this up. If you have more, you can just add on. And then net worth categories, to be honest, I don't keep my net worth here. It's too complicated. I just don't use it. Hidden categories come after, like, let's say you want to remove a category. We can deal with it later next time. Now you go to dashboard, you can see all your categories here, right? These are what you kind of set up to do. It's all 0 because we haven't keyed in any transactions yet. And you can see all your accounts here. So this is amazing. And then here's where you actually start working this out. So today is the 14th of January, the first day we kind of used 14th of January. Yeah, let's just make sure it's 14th of January. This is because I didn't update the formatting, so it's up to you. I usually change this. You can figure that out. I think it's pretty simple. And then let's enter all the money that we have in each account right now. So we can go to this, we click starting balance. And we go to OCBC, let's just click all our accounts. This is why I said you have to log into every single account and make sure you know how much money you have there. Okay, so all this will be starting balance. We can just drag this down, and then we can also drag this down, And then it's inflow, because it's how much money we actually saved or already have. So let's say we have $5,000 in OCBC, we have $2,000 in UOB. In my wallet I have $50. My cash account here, which I try not to touch, is about 10k. This would probably be my emergency fund. That's a good point. Let's just enter our emergency fund here as well. Savings, emergency fund. Oh, we may want to have some savings for short-term fund, right? Trips. Let's just add that in now. So this is where, you know, you want to have trips here, so you know how much you're actually saving for. So for trips, maybe I want to spend about 8k a year. So this would be divided by 12. That's 666. So we have to adjust. So let's just add our trips here. Wrong place to add. I'm gonna insert it here. Trips. We want to spend 8,000 a year on trips. Equals to 8,000. Okay, let's just make it 650. And then this would be minus the sum of the two above. Yep, so $500 is not enough. Clearly, there's something going on here. This is where, for example, you want to lower your long-term investments, maybe from 50% just to this amount. Then you can see we have enough for our free spend. Here you go back to your configuration and you make those changes, right? So here we want 650. We are losing 650 here. So we need to reduce some of our long-term savings. We may want to reduce our fund spend. So 250. You can see there's $4 missing here. So 246. And then we can just look and just confirm. Yeah, it's 246 here. So everything aligns. I didn't really like rehearse this. I just want to show you guys how to actually set this up. Let's say that, you know, we are owing money. So this will be an outflow. Make sure you see this outflow and inflow. Your OCBC, you kind of owe like $250. For your Amex First Fly, you currently owe $100. The next part you will go to is your category transfers. So here you can see you have $17,000 to be available for budgeting, and we can again set this to be 14th of January. And then from category would be available to budget, because this is how much we have to budget, and then to category would be the current category. So something important would be emergency fund. So we're going to put 10k in it. Because it's mid-month and I assume that we are getting paid at the end of the month, all this configuration things, maybe we can put half the amount. So it would be available to budget for all these things, and then we can just fill it up. Food, fund money, you know, parents' allowance. Yeah, so it kind of feels like a drag, I understand. It's a bit painful to do this. But once you set it up, it's so much easier going forward, I promise you. So because there's half a month left, let's just put in, you know, right now, because it's not the monthly amount that you're coming together, you can just key in whatever you want. So let's say because it's January, I'm going to put in $2,000 in trips. For parents' allowance, I already paid them this month, so it's 0 for now. Gym for next month would be $150. I paid for this month already, but let's just key that in. And then yeah, you can just follow. For taxes, $250. For insurance, it's the first month, so I need at least $100 there. I cut $2, transport $80, cell phone bill $20. To how much do I want to invest? $1,500. So $1,500, and see here you have 2,448. So this is where you can actually key in more to your trips, or if you need more, or if you feel like you don't have enough emergency fund, this is where you can actually key down to the until it's hit 0, right? So once you have hit 0, everything is kind of set up right now. So now you kind of set everything up. We can look at our dashboard, and here's where you can actually hide all this configuration. Let's just hide it. We can hide these tools so we don't see it anymore. And we can see in here, this is the amount you have available to spend per category. This is how you do envelope budgeting, right? So you have all your amounts here, you have all your amounts here. Whenever you key in a transaction, you tag it to the correct category, you tag it to the correct account, and everything will be updated. So for example, tomorrow I ate a $5 Thai fund. I'm going to go to category, choose food, and I'm going to choose my wallet, right? Because that's where the money came from. Here you will put a tick. I don't really use this part because some people put pending in case it doesn't go into their credit card transactions. I always put a tick. So once I do a tick, right, you can see $5 food wallet. When you go to your dashboard, you can see the food has reduced by 5, and then your wallet has reduced by $5 as well. So this is how you actually essentially use your budget. So I went on a shopping spree. I have used my fun money, and this was from my Amex card. Shopee shopping, and I do a tick. You can see the Amex KrisFlyer just increased by $100. It was $100 earlier. Now it's $200. You can see my fun money has been spent. So this is how you actually keep track of your spending on a month-to-month basis. This is how you keep track. In a future video, I will show you more in-depth how this all works. But I encourage you to really explore how the Aspire budget works, and it's amazing. So you can see how much you have spent. And this is how I actually check my credit card bills and how I check my credit card statements. Okay, I hope this video was helpful in helping you set up your budget with Aspire Budget. In my next video, I'm going to show you how I use it on a day-to-day basis, meaning when I key in my transactions, how I reconcile my accounts, what I do when I pay my credit card bill, you know, what happens when I get paid my money, and more. Let me know what else you want to hear from me. Comment down below, like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And you guys have a good day. Bye-bye.